Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick vlog. I made a vlog earlier, but I didn't really like that vlog because some of my coworkers came up and they kind of just ruined the entire vlog. So, I want to do a vlog about something that's actually a question that I get asked a lot. Whether it's just by people who haven't played a Fallout game before and they're saying, hey, what Fallout game should I play before Fallout 4? Or they're saying, hey, what's your favorite Fallout game? Which one's better, Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas? I'm not talking about Fallout Tactics, I'm not talking about Fallout 2, just because those aren't really indicative of what the series is now. And Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas are pretty they're pretty different from the other ones. Definitely a departure, but that's what this series is like now. So those are the two that I'm going to compare it to. I actually have a list that I made. So just a bit of a disclosure before I get into this. I have a lot more nostalgia for Fallout 3 just because I was younger and I was a pretty impressionable kid at the time. I believe that was about 7 years ago, and I just turned 19. So, you can do the math. I was pretty young, and it was a very special game to me. I still remember when I got it on my birthday, playing it with all my friends, and it was amazing. So, that's a disclosure. Another disclosure is how much time I've played each game. I've played Fallout 3 around 300 to 400 hours, um, which is a decent amount of time. I've played Fallout New Vegas 600 to 700 hours. So that's just a ballpark for you. Kind of gives you my answer already, but let's get into it. So, first, I'll go through what I think are the benefits of Fallout New Vegas. I should just say right now, I think Fallout New Vegas is the better game. And I'll tell you why right now. So my first point is that the this big this is such a big complaint that I have with Fallout 3, which is the way that the speech skill works and the way that the repair skill works. In case you don't remember, in Fallout 3, if you say you had a 67 repair skill, you could only repair an item to like 67%. And I don't think it was the same, like the percent was the same as your skill, but basically you would upgrade it to like 70% and it'd be like, you can't upgrade this further until your skill's 75. That was extremely annoying. It made it so you could almost never have a weapon that was fully upgraded. Fallout New Vegas changed that and fixed it basically because they just said, all right, you'll repair it less if your skill is low. So instead of repairing it, like 30%, if your skill was 100 in repair, instead of repairing that item 30%, it would only repair it like 20% if you had a skill that was like 65, okay? I hated that so much. Another thing is they added the jury rigging perk, which let you repair items with just similar weapons. So you didn't have to have a 10 millimeter pistol to repair a 10 millimeter pistol, which was always really annoying as well. They also fixed the skill, speech skill. I'm gonna have to go through this faster because I'm gonna run out of time at this rate. Basically, in Fallout 3, you had a percentage chance on each thing. So even if your skill was like 100, then it would say 70% chance to convince them. That was stupid. If you have 100 speech, you should just be able to convince people left and right. They fixed that in Fallout New Vegas and made it so instead of having like a percent attached to it, it just had a skill requirement. So if you had 70 speech, then you could convince them. It just simplified it and it wasn't nearly as annoying. It made it so you didn't have to save before every single conversation just to try over and over again to get it right. Another point for Fallout New Vegas is it had better perks. This is pretty subjective, But Fallout 3, how they did perks is they kind of just said, okay, well, 80% of the perks just are going to increase your skills. So, for example, there was one that would increase your repair skill by 5 and your guns by 5. And there was one that would increase your big guns by 15. That's not really interesting to me. It led to the fact that you didn't really have to replay the game because by the end of the game, if you picked the right perks, you could have like every single skill maxed out. In Fallout New Vegas, they changed that and made it so there was almost no perks that just increase your skill. They were all dynamic things that changed other things in the game and just benefited you in different ways. I thought that was a really positive change that they did. Okay. I thought that there was better balance between the different types of weapons in Fallout New Vegas. Even it was still bad, but being a melee character was actually plausible. It was actually plausible in Fallout New Vegas on like hard mode. Still not on very hard. Like you're gonna die, but on like hard mode, compared to Fallout 3, so it did feel like you could do a little bit more. You could play the game through with explosives just because there was dynamite everywhere in that game. Moving on, there's more weapons. That is the biggest draw for me for the game, and they aren't extremely generic. In Fallout 3, they had like 10mm pistol, assault rifle, sniper rifle, shotgun. It was super generic. In Fallout New Vegas, they added like a bajillion different versions. They're like 5.56 assault rifle. They got blah blah, all sorts of things. They got the pump, they got the hunting shotgun, they got the combat shotgun. They just added so many more weapons. It especially helped out the energy weapons. My god, energy weapons. There was like a laser pistol, a laser rifle, a plasma pistol, a plasma rifle for Fallout 3. And they added so much in Fallout New Vegas. Honestly, the weapons is such a big thing for me. So many points given to Fallout New Vegas for adding those weapons. It really was very important for me. Along with more weapons, there was more apparel, more armor, stuff like that, and more enemies in Fallout New Vegas. I didn't feel like I was always killing the same thing over and over like I did in Fallout 3. In Fallout 3, you kind of just felt like you were killing centaurs and super mutants over and over and over again. And that just got really repetitive for me. I like the diversity in Fallout New Vegas more. The storyline, this one is debatable, but I'm going to say that most of the storyline I liked more in Fallout New Vegas, just because there was more decisions, and it did feel like your decisions actually mattered. If you went with Yes Man, if you went with the Legion, if you went with NCR, no matter what you did, I felt like it definitely changed the storyline, whereas Fallout 3 is just one straight line, and then at the very end, it's like, you kind of make a decision, but not really. Not talking about Broken Steel, because I never played it. I know. I was a very poor kid at the time, and I had to use, like, my Christmas and my birthday just to get Fallout 3. So, I'm sorry, I never played it. Next, just the choices mattered a bit. That's another point for it. The mods, this is also debatable. I feel like Fallout New Vegas has better mods. Especially right now, just because everyone's so hyped for Fallout 4, they're making a lot of Fallout New Vegas mods. The modding community for Fallout New Vegas is still very much alive, and there's a lot of great mods out there for that, so if you're a PC gamer, that's something to consider. The companions add a lot to the game, add a lot of dynamic. Veronica is bae. I love her for life. She's my homie, and she's the best. Okay. This is a big thing that I don't see a lot of people talking about. Fallout New Vegas is a lot funnier than Fallout 3. Fallout 3 does still have some funny things, it's got the talking trees, and it's got Moira, and it's got a lot of funny things, but it does have a more serious storyline, going for your dad and stuff like that. There's a lot of funniness and jokes in Fallout New Vegas that I felt with stuff like Wild Wasteland, a bunch of old ladies trying to kill you with rolling pins. I just thought that Fallout New Vegas was a lot funnier, whereas Fallout 3 was a little more on the serious side. I know a lot of people are probably going to agree with me with a lot of stuff. That's completely fine. Just be respectable about it, please. And I thought that there was more replayability in Fallout New Vegas just because your decisions actually mattered. So you could go through and play the game going with the Legion if you previously went with NCR. I felt like there was a lot more replayability. Plus, you couldn't just originally. Once they extended the level cap to like 40 or whatever they ended up extending it to, this kind of got lessened, but there wasn't like in Fallout 3 where you could just pick the right perks and then just have everything maxed out. And so you could be like, okay, I can use guns or energy weapons or big guns or explosives, and I'm good with everything. Everything's at 100. It felt like you actually did have to replay the game if you wanted to go for energy weapons, if at the beginning of the game you were going for guns. I thought that really added to the replayability. Whew. Those are the points for Fallout New Vegas. Let's go to Fallout 3. I'm running out of time and breath. Okay. This one is not for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's that Fallout 3 is probably going to be more indicative of what you can expect in Fallout 4. The reason behind this is Bethesda did not develop Fallout New Vegas. Obsidian, I believe that's their name. Obsidian, the same people who made the South Park game, they developed Fallout New Vegas. So there's a lot of things that Bethesda could definitely take from Fallout New Vegas, but I do feel like playing Fallout 3 is going to be a much more similar experience to what you'll get in Fallout 4. So if you want something similar to that, you want to get ready for it, I recommend playing Fallout 3. It does feel like Fallout 4 is going to have a bit more of a serious tone, just with the storyline and stuff like that. So Fallout 3 is probably going to be more indicative of what you're going to get. I could be completely wrong with that. The game's not out yet. That's just my opinion, my take on everything I've seen so far. If you're playing on the console, Fallout 3 has a lot less glitches and stuff like that happen on, at least from my experience. Fallout New Vegas had so many glitches, especially on PS3, it was a bit ridiculous. So many times you're just walking and then you fall through the floor and you're just perpetually falling forever. Like, so many things like that happen. If you're on the console, I strongly recommend, go for Fallout 3, unless you want to save every, 20 minutes, which is probably a smart thing to do anyway, but it's annoying to do if you don't just have a button like quick save. Okay, the better environment, I don't think this one's subjective at all. I think pretty much everybody agrees that the environment in Fallout New Vegas kind of sucks. It's mostly 90% just desert. I know you're in the Mojave, it should be desert. I'm just saying, the messed up buildings and stuff like that of Washington, D.C. is definitely a more attractive environment in Fallout 3. The karma system I thought was better in Fallout 3 just because you couldn't kill every single person that you met in the game and still somehow be good. Yeah. Because that's something you could do. Also, something that I absolutely loved in Fallout 3, but there just wasn't enough of, and I thought it was amazing in Fallout 3, was when you're a child. Those are probably my favorite moments. Just trying to jailbreak from your, playpen thing as a baby, and then Liam Neeson, catches you. That's amazing. It's fantastic, but there just wasn't enough of it in the game. Real quick, the things that they tie in the characters. I think both games have very good and memorable characters. The DLC, I couldn't decide. If you want the funnier DLC, and definitely go with Fallout New Vegas. Hand penises. Those of you who know what I'm talking about, I laughed for 20 minutes at that. It was hilarious. The combat, basically the same. It's the same engine. Nothing's really changed, except there's better weapons in Fallout New Vegas. And that's it. Okay, so I think Fallout New Vegas is the better game. I've clearly played it more. Tell me what you guys think. Sorry this is so rushed. I'm out of breath. Have a great day. Bye. Love you.